Okay, so when I first Googled this movie, I was getting the wrong movie because I was calling it The Room, and it's Room. Even though I previously watched the movie on Netflix, but we're talking Brie Larson's Room. This is her Oscar-winning movie, and if you're not familiar, we are counting down. This is countdown episode 3 of 5. That's right. It's gonna be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So guess what? Let's continue that countdown and get to the movie. All right, so it seems like right now, the world, the world of culture and entertainment, literally seems to be burning from my perspective, and there is nothing that can make me sadder. If you're new to Dream Warriors, this is a entertainment pop culture podcast that's focused on being
What is that
contrarian to
countdown?
the cynical
Dream
wave
Warriors, thank you for
that
joining
is
me. This is
affecting
episode 116.
like everything,
and
all
we're
of analysis, all of critical
Room
thinking, all of
from
discussion.
2015,
And
not the Room,
I rather
but
much
Room.
so focus on
let's get back
like,
to
the
that
good
countdown,
and the
hit
positive
that
and what is happening
intro,
in movies. And sometimes
let's rock and
when
roll.
you kind of play contrarian, if there's something good, you want to pick out something bad. And if something's bad, you want to pick out something good. And sometimes you're just confused and you don't know where to lie. And that's almost where I ended up with Room. I was somewhat like, I wouldn't say on edge watching this movie, but I was definitely uneasy. And when it comes to art, art's supposed to tug at your emotions. It's supposed to make you feel something. And this is one of my long-standing arguments. It's actually a good position if you want to talk about porn with girls in somewhat of a coherent manner without them thinking you're a pig. I often have taken the position to myself, to my friends, and even with women that porn is the highest echelon, is the pinnacle when it comes to art, because porn is visceral. Porn knows what it's doing to you, and it does it purposely with like a ferocity, and it's accurate and it's perfect in that notion. Porn, in my opinion, is the highest form of art. Now, keep in mind, okay, Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel was considered porn at one time. So the use of the word porn is something to be considered when I make that statement. But look, getting back to what Dream Warriors is, that's a little bit of the countdown that I'm doing. So I'm counting. I totally messed up. I'm talking to you Friday night. The countdown was supposed to end Tuesday, and I've been in the YouTube hole, I've been in the drawing hole, I've been in an eBay hole, and but these are even 9 to 5 hole, but these are fantastic holes to be in. Who doesn't want to be in the hole when you're a guy? But jokes aside, and I get locked in, and when I do things that are coming from my head, they're coming from like my soul. They're coming from me. They're being drawn from the marrow of my bones. Once I see them get hit and I see them complete, and I'm kind of looking at them like, it's up on YouTube, or I'm listening to it, or I'm looking at it. I'm like, I just finished like a drawing. I immediately want to do that again. And this is how I get bad, because it's not just me doing it one time. It is the effort to keep going. And that's a little bit of what this week was. And aside from that, not so much socializing. I've really kind of been sporadically hitting the gym. And I've been coming back here to the Dream Warrior studio, and spending nights with Dallas, just being productive. And it's kind of funny because speaking of being productive, it looks like our dear friend Mark is back into darkness. He's not even in the hole. He's someplace else, and like I kind of reached out to him to hopefully ignite some things, and I know he listens to the podcast, and I kind of wanted to maybe like speak to him and say, look, like I hear you, Mark. We all deal with depression in multiple levels, especially when you're putting as much as yourself, like me, into your work and into social media. It's like there's a lot of risk, and two people sharing that burden, and me having someone to share it with, definitely makes it better when things backfire, because at least someone else has a stake in it, and it's sometimes it's good working for other people as much as you're working for yourself. And that's the way I always looked at the Dream Warrior contributors, which is, let's do this together and let's really make this thing pop and put in all effort, like all hands are on deck. And speaking of contributors, counting, with the end of the countdown, I wanted it to be Norm. I wanted, actually, the countdown is going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it's going to hit episode like 000, and then it's like boom, like so it's big announcement episode, and then like new direction. And I wanted Norm to be like episode 1 of that like new direction. And it like even him and I, like went back and forth. He seemed okay. It's hard to know what his intent was via text message, but I give him credit. He did come off as being like okay and wanting to do it. Norm is just dealing with a lot of stuff right now. I think he's going back to school, and I just and I don't know how much of his like 9 to 5 is putting strain on him, and he's a new homeowner, and he's dealing with like what sounds like a money pit every time I chat with him. So like what is this? So many of the Dream Warrior contributors are still in school. I don't know. What are you people doing? And look, I'm not just talking to them through the podcast. I say this to their faces. It's like, like I need to know, like, what are you doing? Well, how are you 30? How are you 40 and you're still in school? Like, if you're 40 and you're still in school, that you've been in school for more than like one half of your life. Think about that. It's crazy. But look, we have to talk about Room. What led me to this movie is a lot of my, like I would say, my Twitter community, my actions on Twitter, the people I communicate with. I try and communicate with everyone on Twitter. When someone posts something that I think is purposely inflammatory, I sometimes I'll make a comment, and I'll try and get into their thought process. And it usually is always like hostile, and I never understood how you can just be hostile to strangers, people you don't know, because I'm sure these people will sometimes use the excuse in their own lives that, oh, like it got miscommunicated, it got misconstrued because of like text messaging and this and that. Well, Twitter is no different than text messaging, and I just feel like everyone is almost like screaming like at each other, and everyone's faceless, and we don't really know what each other's saying, and that's a lot of the noise. Now, can things be constructive? Yeah, but it's like these highs and lows. Even when things are like good and it's adulation and it's love, it's just way over the top. And when it's bad and it's angry, it's way over the top. And there doesn't seem to be like a flat line, like a baseline, almost like like an etiquette. So Brie Larson is so divisive right now with Captain Marvel coming up. And like part of the criticism coming from one side, I would say my side, is that she's not charismatic. She doesn't really smile. She doesn't emote much, and she's going to get this character that is going to be like super powerful to maybe like counter Thanos and to fight Thanos and to defeat Thanos. And there's like immediate outrage with this idea because, I think kind of from a storytelling standpoint, that character should have been set up and established in some fashion, and just in some fashion. And but like, was Black Panther really set up? Like, technically, Black Panther would not have been as big if it wasn't for Civil War, and people already forget that. Would the like Black Widow's presence in Avengers be as big if it wasn't for Iron Man 2? Like, like a lot of these appearances, a lot of these pops, even Bucky and the Winter Soldier would not have been as impactful if it wasn't for the first Captain America movie. So having a character come out of nowhere and then be impactful is new for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, this could have been something that they've like an ace up their sleeve the entire time. The entire time, meaning they did have a character in mind to do this. And maybe for whatever reason, they chose Captain Marvel. Now, you kind of have to trust the Marvel, like Kevin Feige and his whole team. You kind of have to trust them. You really do. Because it doesn't seem they really haven't made, like, a terrible mistake. Like some swerves. Hey, look. The movies that people hate the most, I back the most, because I really do enjoy Iron Man 2 and 3, especially if you look at Iron Man 1 and 2 as one block. I love the deconstruction in Iron Man 3. I love the destruction in Iron Man 3. Thor 2 Dark World is, I don't know. To me, that's an entertaining movie. I don't know, like, again, I think Guardians 2 is better than Guardians 1. So I'm kind of really very on the fringe with my Marvel Cinematic Universe views. With that being said, I understand the fear. I understand this angst that's around the Captain Marvel movie. But at the same time, I gotta give the benefit of the doubt. So, Room, Brie Larson won the Oscar for Room, and lo and behold, it was available on Netflix, and I watched it immediately, and I believe I watched a little bit of it at my 9 to 5, just kind of like winding down, because I usually leave around 2 or 3 with that fucking gig. Excuse my language. I really don't curse a lot on the show. Please excuse the language. And like, I was so into it that when I got home, I just restarted the movie. So I watched like the first 20 minutes, maybe like twice, because where Brie Larson was with the child, and I was just trying to figure out, like, what exactly am I watching? Because it was intriguing. Like, the first 30 minutes of this movie, or like, until almost like maybe until we're introduced to her captor, is just it's phenomenal. It's well designed, it's well written, well everything. So going into this, I just said, look, let me just see what she's all about, because the only other movie I can recall her in was Kong Skull Island, and to me, a lot of that movie is just like, I forget so much of it. I mean, I know the plot, I know what they were doing in the movie, but the action, the set pieces, the motion of the movie, because movies are kind of like mechanical. Like, I hate to say it, I would have to watch that movie again, probably watch it a few times to nail it down. But that's okay. But I don't remember like much of her. I remember like there was, like, she did like survive the movie. It was like her and Kong at the end. I think Loki also, Tom Hiddleston also survived. See, but I don't even know for sure. Like, so anyway, I kind of forget where they even left off in that movie. Like, I'm not sure where Kong went. Like, or did he die? I just know they referenced that he wasn't full grown. I don't know how they would know that, but whatever. So I said, look, let's just do this. So, not to spoil the movie, because I feel like this movie you should sit down and experience this movie. This movie is about a woman who raised a child captive for about 7 years. She got kidnapped. She got put into this room with one light, like one sunlight, which turned out to be a shed. But she has no way in, no way out, or she's trapped. She has no way out, and her captor, basically visits her, bangs her, and just kind of leaves. They have this like somewhat weird broken relationship. And like I was upset in the movie because you don't know where it's going to go at one point. You don't know if this movie is going to be them in the room the entire time. Where her maybe like the character, the Brie Olsen, is getting deconstructed, or the relationship between her and her son, who's like Justin Turtle Tom or Turtle Bomb. I am butchering that dude's name. Jacob Tremblay, who is phenomenal, who is the real actor in this movie. The movie also has Joan Allen and William H. Macy. Everyone's kind of good in this movie. And the movie happens. And Brie Olsen comes, look, spoiler alert. They get out. They get out of the shed. They, like you can say that they escaped or got rescued. I'm not going to go into that detail. But what happens after, it was really hard for me to see the point of the movie. And I think this is a problem when it comes to movies of this nature nowadays, because these aren't like auteur movies. These aren't filmmaker movies. These aren't movies made by filmmakers for filmmakers. There's no grit. There's no balls. There's nothing. I'd much rather watch Prisoners, who's it's a phenomenal movie compared to Room. Prisoners has like this point, and it has and I don't want to destroy it because that's another movie with like a hook at the end. But Prisoners builds to a point through the first and second act. This movie, when it ended, I was so upset. I was so pissed, and I get this feeling a lot with these like modern day. I don't want to say like if they're pretentious or highfalutin, but they're not fun movies to watch, and they're hard movies to discuss. So what exactly are they? And you might be saying, Pete, no, these movies, it's not Armageddon. Look, you're talking to someone that I feel like my life mission is to put my opinion down audio-wise on every single movie I've seen. Okay, I want to see all movies. I want to discuss all movies. This movie had no point. There is 0 point to this movie. The kid, Jacob Turtlebomb, right, or Tremblay, Jacob Tremblay, outacts Brie Larson by a mile. The kid should have got the Oscar. And I just don't understand it. I've been long critical of the Academy limiting the Best Actress nomination to 3, because there's not enough roles to even fill five slots year after year after year. This is why every actress seems to have a Best Actress award, where the men, when it comes to Best Actor, it literally seems like a dogfight. There's a giant list of great performances, great careers that have never got Oscar gold, but all the women seem to get it. And they get multiples, and they get a million nominations. It's not because they're that good; it's because they have to they have to fill 5 slots. It's the same argument for Best Picture. You can't have more than 5. You need 5 films for Best Picture. If you go over, you're nominating Black Panther, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's another thing. The Oscars, by the way, I should be this coming Monday or Tuesday. So and that's a little bit why I wanted to watch that movie. So I wanted to give these doubters of Brie Olsen, the like I want to be a contrarian to them. I would say like the criticism of her of not being emotive as an actress or really pulling you in through performance. This is not like Toni Collette in Heritage. Wait, is it or wait? What's the name? oh, oh my God! Hereditary. I'm sorry, Hereditary. Hereditary. It's not Toni Collette in her Hereditary. Sure, got 2 Oscars compared to Brie Olsen. But look, everyone, I cannot recommend this movie. I can't even recommend this movie for Brie Olsen performance, and that's what I was hoping for. I would say some of the doubters, some of the doubts are founded. I've discovered that. I believe Kong Skull Island is available on HBO, and I'm on my way to the gym. I'm going to check what is on HBO on demand, and hopefully it's there, because I might want to watch it when I get back. I might just come back, order some Domino's, pig out, draw, and watch Kong Skull Island. That is my Friday night. Holla if you hear me. But hey, everyone. Twitter, AKAPAD. Instagram, AKAPAD13. Facebook, AKAPAD13. Snapchat, AKAPAD. AKAPAD.com. Find me, talk to me. I respond to everything. I love you. And thanks for sticking with me. Coming up is Countdown Episode 2. Let's do this. Let's go, Dream Warriors.